My forehead looking like the Grand Canyon this week. What is happening? God dang. Early onset hair loss, bro.
Let's get a grip.
I'm about to put a hat on, but this is terrible.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome back to the Bros of the Berg podcast. Connor's probably going to edit out what happened about 10 seconds prior, but it's scarred his older brother for life.
100%. Yeah.
I'm Ryan. I'm here joined with Robbie and Connor for this week's episode again. Back to the three-man pod. November 7th, another event-filled week in the world of sports and, just life on this earth.
Connor's so sus.
Yeah, he's really sus.
Okay, let's be real. Everyone who listens to this podcast knows this. All my friends, they know this. And, we don't have many fans outside of a little bubble. So, I mean.
I don't know. Shout out to our listeners on the Google Podcast, our international listeners. There are some of them.
I can't imagine that we're not super popular in Holland right now. It feels like we'd be really popular there. I have no reason why.
I think the Dutch fuck heavy with us.
Yeah, I agree. If they heard us, they definitely would. Yeah. So shout out.
Who is
shout
that
out the Dutch
Irish man that looks like 31 week and now looks like a high schooler?
His hair is the same color as our soccer jerseys. That's wild.
Hell yeah, soccer reference. Woo.
Speaking of the World Cup's coming up, how are we feeling about it? How are we feeling about the U.S.'s chances at becoming the world champion?
I'm going to be angrily drunk at Thanksgiving watching
the U.S.
America
chances
not get out of the group stage.
The U.S. chances to win the World Cup, 0. There's no way.
Getting
out of the group stage, I'm going to give us 65%.
That's pretty good.
Pretty good about
I'm
it.
looking that up. What are the better odds that the U.S. gets out of the group stage?
Well, we're guessing?
Better. I'm sure we're favored too. I would bet we're at minus 175.
I was gonna say minus 150.
I'm sorry. What were y'all's bets again?
Oh god, it's gonna be really bad. I said minus 150.
Okay.
I said minus 175.
Plus 100 to qualify from Group B.
We are not even favored.
To win Group B is plus 550.
Yeah, that feels about right.
So reach finals plus 4,000, which are horrible odds in my personal opinion. Compared to win World Cup is plus 15,000. If you're
on that
taking reach finals or to reach
the finals, I want to lob money on that just for fun.
If
you bet $100, you win $15,000. So
can any one of us name a single player that is on that roster?
Weston McKenzie is supposed to be, but he got hurt this week playing for Juventus,
can't do it,
so we don't know if he's going to play.
Yeah. Anymore?
Yeah. If you gave me time, I probably could, but it's getting a little late. So
Tim Howard. He used to be a player.
He is. He is no longer.
Yeah. No, I know.
Tim Weah is on the team. He's pretty solid.
There we go.
The goalkeeper is Matt Turner, I think.
Oh, okay.
This guy's
crazy. You're crazy at this.
Yeah, dude, y'all want to just make the rest of the podcast me listing American soccer players? 100%. That could be fun. That could be a good time.
I can give you Premier League players. I can't give you.
So I'll get on the tequila and we'll go through this.
I can give you a lot of Premier League players. I cannot give you American players.
Right, you can't drink tequila right now. That'd be like if I woke up at 7:30 and started drinking tequila.
No, I feel
just because it's 10:30 at night doesn't mean
you haven't done that before.
Not before work.
Yeah, that's valid.
That anyone knows about.
Really wish I had a Coors Banquet in the fridge right now for a nice shower beer before I got on the road to work.
All right, well, let's get this episode underway because Ryan has to go to work in a little bit. So we're going to start out with a unfortunate for a lot of people, as I saw in the Instagram comments, an unfortunate congratulations to the Houston Astros for winning the World Series in 6 games. Congrats to Mattress Mac for winning his $75 million bet. That thing never cash out. Don't just let it ride, I guess.
So he bet how much did he bet? And he won 75 million, or he
bet $10 million across multiple sports books.
Okay.
Various odds given by various books.
And he got 75 mil.
Yeah, paid out 75 mil.
Shout out to Mattress Mac, man.
So you're assuming plus 750 odds for the Astros to win the World Series. Like, I mean, they were favored coming into the season, so that does make sense. But like, wild to let it ride like that.
What was the bet we saw the other day, Ryan, that we were looking at? There was like someone needed France to win the World Cup, and they would like turn like $10 into like $500,000 or something because they bet on every single league winner in a parlay.
Crap. That's kind of nuts.
Yeah. It was nuts. Like actually
crazy.
insane. Like we were saying, like you just got to wait for like France to get out of the group stage, and I think that's one you can't ride that. There's no way.
Yeah. There's going to be some ignorant sports betting come World Cup time. I'm very excited to see some of these degenerate parlays coming out.
Betting on soccer is not fun because it's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna bet on this guy scoring a goal, and then it's gonna end in a 0-0 draw.
It's the worst.
Yeah, if you're one of those psychos that likes doing like the no point score and a half parlays, you need to find help because that's an awful thing to bet on and watch.
I'm not gonna say I never woke up and bet on the Premier League on a random Saturday morning, but I never enjoyed it that much. I can promise.
You just got to put it, throw some money down and see what happens.
I'm just saying early, please gamble responsibly because apparently we've got on the betting parlay or the betting side of the pod real early.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the entire pod. What do you mean the betting side of the pod? That's literally all I talk about.
Every sport we talk about has some line associated with it.
Yeah, of course.
We can't help ourselves.
But we're not the only ones to do that. Have y'all noticed how like shameless ESPN is about it now?
Mm-hmm. It's full DraftKings sponsorship and
Here are all of your lines brought by DraftKings. We got Jalen Rose in studio to tell you which NBA teams to bet on.
DraftKings on this
because they're getting paid. They're getting paid for it. What do you like? Of course, they're gonna advertise them. That's how it works. You pay for the promo.
In Alabama, that's probably good for my savings account.
Yeah. Continuing on with the World Series, like I said, congratulations to the Houston Astros and Mattress Mac. And Jeremy Pena, the rookie shortstop on the Houston Astros, has won the World Series MVP. He is I believe he is the third rookie in history to win the World Series MVP. Obviously, he had a pretty incredible performance throughout the playoffs. It wasn't just the World Series. He was playing very, very well throughout the series. So, an unfortunate congratulations for most people to the Houston Astros. Maybe the Phillies, you get them next year. Right? I guess we'll see. I mean, it seemed kind of like a Cinderella run, in all honesty, but maybe they'll be back. I mean, you never know.
They were a team that underachieved in the regular season, though, and started playing a lot better baseball when they got rid of their manager.
Yeah.
Like, I think when they got rid of their manager, is only like the Dodgers and the Braves had better records from that point on. I mean, the Dodgers were the best team in baseball for most of the year. The Braves were red hot in the year. So I think there was a lot more talent there than their record showed when they came into the playoffs, which is why they were able to be successful.
Yeah.
Super strong division. Like, to be able to get out of that division, 3 teams, like, that's pretty fucking wild. So.
And apparently the Dodgers have entered the 2023 World Series as the betting favorites.
Who would have thought that the team that spends the most money on baseball, aka the Dodgers and the Yankees, are probably World Series favorites?
Is there any way the Dodgers can sign Aaron Judge? Like, is there any can they do that?
Yes. I mean, there's no salary cap.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
I mean, he won't go to the Dodgers. It'd be like a 12-year, $600 million contract. I mean, the amount of money he's going to make this fucking offseason is going to be disgusting. Imagine he's going to break every single record.
Imagine he pulls a KD and goes to Houston. Imagine Aaron Judge in a Houston Astros uniform.
Houston can't afford him.
Yeah, they don't have the money.
Imagine though. That would literally be I feel like the KD equivalent of baseball.
Imagine.
This man's going to sign a contract that's worth more than the entire Tampa Bay Rays payroll. Like the entire team's payroll.
Who's the? Oh wait, no, that's the Mariners. Never mind. Yeah, that's true.
They gave a Rosarina a little bit of money, but not that much.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute demon in me wants him to sign with the Mets.
Oh God! No. Imagine.
No.
As the Braves fan, Robbie says, "Please no."
Continue on.
Division.
Continue on my last baseball headline. Star closer Edwin Diaz and the New York Mets, speaking of, are in agreement on a 5-year, $102 million contract. Pending physical, sources familiar with the deal tell ESPN. There's an opt-out and a full no-trade clause, plus a 6-year option. So obviously the Mets just bolstering their already stellar bullpen with retaining Edwin Diaz.
We never really talked about it when it went viral there for a little bit, but his Narcos walkout song, as much as I want to hate it, is so hype. It is so sick. And when they had Tommy Trumpet there and
probably the best closer entrance since Mo. Like, and
Yes, for sure.
I don't know if it's close.
I went down a YouTube rabbit hole for a little bit one night, like after that happened, because why not? And there's another one. It was a closer for the Padres that would come out to Hell's Bells. That one went pretty hard too.
Dude, closers, like, as somebody who played the sport at a low level, like, closers are a different fucking breed.
Yeah, low level, yeah.
Like, I'm gonna level with you, little bitch. Get down there, suck my nuts. Anyway,
someone had an intramural basketball game is really feeling themselves on the athletic prowess. Apparently,
this guy went 1 for 12 and is really beating his chest on the podcast.
Probably did. I'm not gonna lie. It wasn't great.
Did you guys win?
No, we didn't win. They were better than us. It's it happens.
How about you just grow like 6 inches and be better at basketball? It's really not that hard.
I'll teach you any day of the week, Robbie. Pull up to Stillwater 1-on-1. You and me. You and me.
I will pull up and we will get silly and stilly after I absolutely dominate you.
Whoa. That was crazy.
In basketball?
Yeah, wait, what's going on? What?
I'll leave that up to the imagination. You know?
Continuing. If you were a baseball player, if you're a hitter, you're a closer, whatever, what's your walk-up song? If you say something about redacted. I want to be really out of the box. Welcome to Marvin's room. It's gonna be like the 9th inning. I'm gonna be at bases loaded doing the game, and Marvin's room comes on. That'd be sick.
Would it be sick? Is that what the
if you're the closer? The closer, like I feel like closers run off adrenaline, and imagine like you're up there, bases loaded, trying to have a jam, and just. Cups of the rose.
And he starts thinking
like,
about,
what would you do?
His like girl.
His girl, yeah.
He's all of his mental shit.
It's fucked. All in here.
That is baseball. It is a mental game. That's a good pick.
Thank you.
My forehead looking like the Grand Canyon this week. What is happening? God dang. Early onset hair loss.
Let's get a grip.
I'm about to put a hat on, but this is terrible. Sorry, Ryan. What's your walk-up song?
Oh, man.
Probably Knife Talk. Just to get a little weird intimidation factor. Okay. Something with Future, I think, is a necessity. So I might change.
I'm so groovy would go kind of hard.
Okay. All right. Moving on from baseball, we are going to talk a little bit about college football. Unfortunately for everybody on this podcast, we suffered some losses this week, and we don't have to converse those if we don't want to. But I feel like we might have to for the viewers' sake. So I'll run down some of the other games, and then we can talk about ours at the end.
Hold on, is Bill O'Brien still employed? Asking for a friend.
He was not fired during your slumber, unfortunately.
Fuck. Anyways, continue, Connor.
Oregon State, number 23, currently lost to Washington this past Friday. Congrats to Washington. Ohio State with a struggle win over Northwestern, 21-7.
Yes.
One of the worst in the first half of that football game was probably one of the worst Ohio State performances I've seen in a long time. They could not get anything going on the offensive side. It was a little.
Wasn't it like 45-mile-an-hour winds or something though?
Was it? I was not.
It was like really windy. There's a video of like I don't know if it was warm-ups or at halftime where like one of the kickers tried to kick a field goal and it literally just got stopped by a wind wall.
Yeah.
Like it was going and then it just stopped moving. So that was part of it, but also like you should be able to run the ball in Northwestern as well. So
exactly.
I don't know why that's a problem.
Exactly. TCU with another second half comeback, scoring 21 points in the fourth quarter, keeping their undefeated streak 34-24. They really are the second half team. Yeah, second half team. It's incredible.
Like the horny frogs, you know.
Yeah, that's I see.
Coming back.
North Carolina winning against Virginia 31-28 at Virginia. Tulane continuing on their little hot streak, 27-13 over Tulsa. We got Oregon winning over Colorado, not much of a surprise there. Penn State over Indiana. We have
Bo Nix. Sorry, quick comment. Bo Nix, like Loki, like Heisman dark horse at the moment with Hendon and Hooker having a bad week and Bryce not having a great week.
Terrible. Colorado might be the worst Power 5 school.
Didn't you say that about Iowa?
I agree, but like he's been playing well since the Georgia game. Like he played really badly in the first game of the year and has been pretty solid since.
How like before we go down the rest of the scores, how do you think 3-6 Auburn fans would react to seeing a Heisman Bo Nix?
That'd be kind of funny.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, for all the shit that I'm taking from Auburn fans this week for being down in Auburn, you guys are 3-6 with Vandy. I do not want to hear it.
Yeah.
Just don't. Poverty.
Make a bowl game.
Head ass.
Continuing on, unfortunately, Illinois will probably now be knocked out of the top 25 after losing to Michigan State, of all Big Ten schools, 23-15 at Illinois, nonetheless. Another top 25 team going down. Syracuse goes down to Pitt. That's kind of a weird
Wheels
game.
fell off the wagon.
It's kind of a strange game. UCF.
Desmond Howard's top 4 at the end of the year. Pitt Panthers, by the way. Just want that to be thrown out there.
I like Desmond Howard. Shout out Desmond Howard. You know.
No, don't shout that.
shout out Desmond. Shout out Desmond Howard.
Excuse you.
This man,
shout out Desmond Howard.
This man had A&M winning the national championship.
Also another poverty school.
True. We all knew that though. UCF narrowly winning over Memphis by 1 score, 35-28. We have Texas beating Kansas State at Kansas State, 34-27. That's a big win for Texas. An upset that I predicted: Notre Dame beating Clemson 35-14. Michigan beating Rutgers 52-17. Utah beating Arizona 45-20. NC State beating Wake Forest 30-21. USC beating California narrowly 41-35. And UCLA with a dub over Arizona State 50-36. And of course, 2 games that well, first of all, let's talk about, were you shocked by the Notre Dame Clemson game? What was y'all's thoughts about that game?
Shocked is definitely not the right word. Notre Dame has had their struggles this year, but they still recruit, decent talent.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And, Clemson has had 3 or 4 games that have been in overtime or 1-score games, in the fourth quarter and stuff. So it was just kind of a matter of time for it to catch up.
And I'm not shocked the Notre Dame won. I was pretty surprised that it was in dominant fashion. That game was never close.
It was in South Bend, right? I mean, so that definitely does help.
But Marshall also won a game.
Death Valley. So
Marshall also won a game in South Bend this year.
True.
So
yeah, that wasn't a good look.
And then one that I unfortunately have to address and talk about: Oklahoma State losing to the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence, 37-16. I have a few thoughts.
That OK State team is so beat up right now, it's not even funny.
2 of our starting linemen going, Lacey and Brock Martin, and then putting in the true freshman, Rangel, with Spencer Sanders out.
I mean, a tough situation to be thrown into, but that man didn't know what way was up.
He wasn't atrocious, but it's first of all, Casey Dunn needs to get his head out of his ass. It is I think he's literally worse than Bill O'Brien, and I know you have some things to say about Bill O'Brien, but dude, were you watching the OSU game at all? These commentators would not get Casey Dunn's wiener out of their throats, and I don't understand. I've never heard a college football game where the commentators have talked about the OC so much. About an incompetent OC.
Have you listened to a Bama game when Gary Danielson was calling?
I mean, also when Lane, no, that's what I said. I said to my friend, I've never heard an OC talked about as much as when Lane Kiffin was the OC at Alabama. I had never heard it before, and I was like, why are we on Casey Dunn's wiener right now? He doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything right. He just puts us in terrible positions. And the thing that really ticked me off was that, so Rangel threw a pick. So it was on the first drive, he threw a pick. And it was a great catch by the Kansas defender. It wasn't really Rangel's fault. It was an incredible catch by the defender. On the next drive, when it's also apparently was super, super windy out, we decided to throw a fade ball. It was the second play of the drive. With fade on the left side. Oh, Kansas guy right there. Pick. Well, your freshman's quarterback confidence is shot. It's windy as hell, and we're throwing a fade ball for a guy. I think it was Presley, who granted is a lot of vertical leap ability, but it's 5'8", and we're throwing a fade ball on the sideline for a guy that has no confidence for a Kansas team that is teed up. It made no sense. Casey Dunn,
it was a fucking ball kind of call.
Casey Dunn since the TCU game. It's just it wasn't as apparent until the TCU game, but the TCU game on, it's just been holy crap. it's been terrible. The play calling is just frustrating. And and granted, even with a good play caller, I still don't think we would have won that game. We're, like Ryan said, we're so hurt, we're so beat up. We don't have the talent that we normally do. It's not our year. And I knew that it wasn't our year, but it's frustrating. I feel like this team has a little more talent than what they display, but the secondary and it's just terrible. Secondary is terrible. It's like the Alabama. It's terrible. I don't know. Our D line is elite. We have like 4 really good D linemen. We can't do anything on the defensive side of the ball. It's just frustrating. It's just frustrating to watch. And obviously, no OSU fan always comes with that expected pain. But it's like we haven't
Cowboys.
They haven't been this bad in a while. Completely honestly, and I don't know how many more games we're going to win.
You're still having a better season than Oklahoma. You can take that.
Well, they're going to come to Bedlam to beat our
fired up.
Yeah, I mean it's so going on for my little rant. How about the Alabama LSU game? How about you boys take that?
I said we were gonna whoop that ass, and I'll tell you what.
I'm not exposed to
first drive. Yeah, so I mean, first drive. I think they went like 3 and out, or maybe got like 8 first down. We stopped them. Then we went right down the field. I'm like, oh yeah, this is exactly how I thought it was gonna go. And then we throw a pick in the end zone, and it just really went downhill from there.
Yeah,
we never got any better.
I cannot believe Bryce threw that pick. I didn't see that coming.
He was open. I mean, I saw what he saw. It was there. He just made a bad throw. And they kept bringing it up.
Mahomes play. He just didn't hit the arm angle slot change no look pass. He just threw it behind him, and the LSU receiver DB was there.
They kept bringing up, well, Bryce didn't throw it all during the bye week, which maybe is why some of this timing is off. You've been playing together all year at this point. I don't think you can blame it on taking 1 week off of throwing to completely script your timing with your receivers like that.
Dude, there was like 5 throws where the receiver was running a completely different route than what Bryce threw. Right. And they were just like looking at each other. It's like, I never saw that with any quarterback receiver tandems that have been at Alabama.
Again, that's like them running the wrong route has nothing to do with their chemistry with Bryce Young. That completely comes down to coaching. That clearly someone is not on the same page. And if your offense isn't on the same page, the quarterback is supposed to be but also he can't make sure that every receiver runs the right route every single time.
Yeah. And Bryce was like 50% completion percentage in the first half. Like he definitely looked rough. I'm not sure if that was a scheming issue with the LSU had a good game plan drawn up. They were bringing pressure constantly. I mean, there was a ton of man-to-man defense, and I think we saw again the just delta in talent at the receiving position that Alabama has had this year compared to when we had, literally 4 potential NFL Pro Bowl receivers at one time, right? So we lose probably by 2 or 3 scores if Jahmyr Gibbs isn't on our team. That means that man is a fucking freak. The fact that he can split out wide and play like an active outside receiver and play running back is going to be so valuable at the next level.
Imagine too if this team had to start Jalen Milroe all year. If we didn't have Bryce Young, this might be a 7-5 football team.
Yeah.
Because we very easily could have lost to Texas and A&M with Bryce Young. Probably should have lost both of those games, to be honest. And that right there is 4 losses.
And the other side of the ball, I think LSU game planned very well for Will Anderson. He disappeared again.
Yeah, so, I think, the Eli Ricks had an awful game. He got picked on, especially after coming off that Mississippi State week where he had a really good week. And it seemed like they turned the corner. You have Kool-Aid on one side and Ricks on the other. He got picked on all game. I felt like every time they threw the ball, it was at Ricks. And Dallas Turner, I mean, he just has not become that force on the other side to take the pressure off Will Anderson. They can still focus on Will Anderson. Dallas Turner will make a play, but he's not disrupting the game like we had hoped that he would.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, and I saw a few questions asking, is this the end of the Alabama dynasty? And I was like, so it's a little early. It's a little early to call something like that, but
we're all doom and gloom about it. We haven't lost 2 games on the road against currently ranked top 10 teams by combined 4 points.
Yeah,
in
it's
overtime.
Crazy. Yeah, one of them in overtime, one of them on the last second field goal. I mean, it's crazy to be this Alabama team sucks, but compared to the past, they do.
Yeah.
We normally never put ourselves in this many situations this close to games. Like that's super
Except-
uncommon.
Except for last year too. I feel like last year we had a couple where we probably should have lost and we just happened to win those games versus this year because our tougher games have been on the road, we're not lucking ourselves out of them essentially.
Yeah, and we were playing in some of the most hostile environments. Like these 2 games we lost, like Neyland hasn't been that hype in since Manning played there.
Yeah.
And LSU, I think they said during the game it reached like 110 decibels at one point. Like that's ridiculous for a sporting
It's 2
venue.
schools. It's 2 schools too that Alabama is the biggest game on their schedule every single year.
Also,
And, like
LSU fans, rushing the field was a poverty school move. I do not understand that. I was talking to my mom the other day about it.
It's like Alabama.
You were in
ranked number 10.
You're a perennial top 15 team. You just won the Natty in 2019
and beat us that year.
Yeah,
people forget about that.
I do not understand it. Tennessee, right? I get it. That's the first time they beat us in 15 years. This was supposed to be their year, right? Biggest rival. I get that. Go down to Oklahoma State. They had the field rushed against them for Kansas. First time Kansas was bowl eligible in 10 years. First time Kansas had beaten a top 10 team in 10 years. You know, Oklahoma State obviously was fucking hurt. Doesn't matter. Get rushing the field. Same with TCU, right? Like, those field rushing I get. The LSU one didn't make any sense.
I mean, field rushing is kind of losing its meaning nowadays, and all, like, completely honestly, I feel like it's just, kids do it because they want to do it.
You could be Clemson and rush the field after.
Disgusting behavior, honestly.
So obviously, I'll move us along a little bit, but obviously we record this on Monday, so we do not, as opposed to the AP poll, which comes out on Sunday, the CFP poll comes out on Tuesday, so obviously we can only speculate at this point. What do we think the top 4 is going to be after this week?
Georgia 1.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lock.
Yeah,
Ohio State's probably
100%.
still 2. I don't know who you put above them. I know they didn't look great, but
Michigan 3, TCU 4.
You put Michigan at 2. I feel like I know it was Rutgers.
Shitty first half. They did not look good in the first half either. It's just because Rutgers is so shit.
Still put 52 on them. It's hard to deny that.
Do you think TCU jumps Tennessee? Even though I know Tennessee didn't play great, but they lost on the road to Georgia.
I'm with Robbie. Tennessee did not look good though.
I agree, but I really think they're gonna go Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, Tennessee, TCU.
I think it's just easier to put all 4 4-0 teams in the top 4. That's just.
I agree with you.
Solution.
I'm just telling you what I think the committee's gonna do. I agree with you. That should be the rankings. I'm just telling you I think the committee is gonna do.
They can do that to whoever loses the Ohio State Michigan game, right? I think that makes a lot of sense, but. Like, let's not bullshit ourselves. If the playoffs started today, you're telling me they're putting in Tennessee over TCU?
I think they do. I'm with. No, I agree.
It's disgusting.
It is. But I agree with Robbie.
Tennessee has a better win. TCU's beaten really no one, and their loss would be on the road to the number 1 team in the country.
Yeah.
Is that TCU's fault, though?
No, and I get it, but I'm just saying, it's not as unreasonable as they have been in the past, especially with some Alabama teams where they kind of give us a bump that we probably shouldn't have. To me, the Tennessee one, if you're looking just at the schedule they've played and the teams they've beaten, would be less of a slap in the face as some in the past have been, in my opinion.
I mean, I agree. I think that it's BS, but I also think that it's going to happen. I'm with Robbie. I think that's going to happen 100%. They're going to put Tennessee at 4.
And if that Georgia TCU game happened, Georgia would beat the brakes off them. I'm not I'm very aware of that, but it's they deserve it kind of thing, right?
Yeah, and I think if TCU wins their conference and goes undefeated, they'll get in. There's no way they don't, but
yeah. All right, let's move this along. So we're going to transition over to the NFL. Some more headlines about our favorite GM and yours, Dan Snyder. The Commanders released a statement that owners Dan and Tanya Snyder have hired Bank of America Securities to consider potential transactions involving the franchise. It is unclear if this means they're exploring a sale of the franchise or seeking a minority owner. Remember when he said he didn't do anything? Why are you trying to sell the team?
Because his image is tainted in the league, and people are bullying and ganging up on him.
Like I said, I've also heard that this means that they're just trying to find a minority owner to raise funds to build a new stadium in Virginia, so the league doesn't take the team away from him. That's also been some speculation.
Well, furthermore, the other headline regarding Dan Snyder continues on saying the U.S. Attorney's Office in the Eastern District of Virginia has opened a criminal investigation into allegations that the Commanders engaged in financial improprieties. So.
What? Again, Again, that'll be the only thing that will actually take down Dan Snyder is if he stole money from the other NFL owners. If it comes out that somehow he cost them money or didn't report some type of earnings or something that he should have, then they would actually kick him out. Anything he does beyond that, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it would really come down to that financial impropriety being the downfall of Dan Snyder.
Yeah. And reportedly, Kevin Durant wants to join the Commanders ownership group. I didn't know he cared about any other sport than basketball, but apparently KD is interested in the Washington Commanders.
I thought you meant KD was gonna like join the Commanders like as a tight end. It's like that'd be. He's already that sick like of Kyrie. He's already that sick of Kyrie. He's like I gotta get.
Do we have to call Kyrie redacted too? Redacted number 2.
Brad. He plays sports, so I feel like we can mention him by name. But
yeah. Continuing on with NFL headlines, breaking news: Michael Thomas is expected to miss the rest of the season. Saints head coach Dennis Allen announced. Allen added that Thomas's toe did not respond as they had hoped to rehab. He will need surgery on his toe.
Turf toe is a fucking bitch.
It'd be one thing if it was anyone other than Michael Thomas.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's like at this point, I'm not annoyed. I just feel bad. I just feel bad for him. 3 back-to-back seasons where it's just he's had to be out for the whole year.
I don't feel bad for him. He's a bum.
I can't imagine though.
Talented to begin with.
He won the Offensive Player of the Year in 2019. What the?
Slant boy.
Slant man.
All right, whatever. But yeah, I feel bad for him. I wish him all the best in recovery. Obviously, being at such an elite level and then having to miss 3 consecutive seasons is heartbreaking. So hopefully he comes back, happy and healthy. Continuing on, the second head coach firing of the season. Frank Reich is out as the head coach of the Indianapolis Colts. The Indianapolis has not been good this season, and in light of that, the Colts are naming their former 6-time Pro Bowl center and ESPN analyst Jeff Saturday as their interim head coach. Saturday has been a consultant for the team in its Ring of Honor and also was head coach for the Hebron Christian Academy football team in Dacula, Georgia.
Dacula, yeah.
A really interesting move. Like PR wise, I get it. Like he's probably one of the most beloved Colts players besides like Manning and like Marvin Harrison and shit like that. But does he like have any coaching experience? I know you said consulting, but like so
he's consulted for the Colts and he's coached a high school team in Georgia.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts season's obviously over. Like they're starting Ellinger instead of like Matt Ryan now. So Jonathan Taylor's been an absolute bum.
What happened?
Yeah, I think it's 100% a waving the white flag that we're just gonna tank this year and not care.
Yeah, but what you're not really tanking for fucking Bijan at this point.
Wembanyama. Victor. They're gonna draft him, bro.
Do they tank for a quarterback?
You're tanking for Will Levis.
Yeah. I cannot wait to see the Mel Kiper just like ball gargling of Will Levis.
He's 6'5".
Who do we think is going to be the first quarterback taken in the NFL draft this year?
Probably Stroud.
Stroud or Bryce. I think it goes Stroud or Bryce, Will Levis, Stroud or Bryce, whichever one didn't get taken first.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
That's so disrespectful.
I agree, but some team is just going to fall in love with the measurables of Will Levis.
Yeah, 100%.
There seems to be a quarterback every fucking year. Didn't Trubisky have the measurables at Duke or something?
Everybody does.
What the fuck?
Carolina BS. Yeah.
Sam Ellinger probably did. I mean, so yeah.
I think it was like a 6th-round pick. I think it wasn't like super highly touted.
I can't wait for the Broncos to trade up and draft Will Levis. It just seems like the type of guy. John Elway is like, you know what? He reminds me of me when I was playing football.
He's scrappy.
Yeah.
He's tall. That's the thing. Remember Brock Osweiler, old giraffe?
That
out
dude
there
was a
running
beast.
around?
Continue on. Another major milestone for Tom Brady. He is now the only player in NFL history to throw for 100,000 passing yards. He's been playing for so long.
Still can't catch a fucking dub.
They just won.
Yeah, but like they're 4-5.
Well, yeah, but it's like it's not all his fault. I mean, the team's kind of
it is.
The whole thing, the whole season is Tom Brady's fault.
Tampa Bay's defense is not nearly as good as people thought it was going to be.
I saw a hilarious tweet earlier today, and it was Leonard Fournette is like the worst player that everyone thinks is good because of fantasy football. I thought that was the funniest thing ever.
Powerball drawing is going, by the way.
Oh my god, I'm about to make the money.
Is Ryan about to make the money? All right, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, we're going to have to pause real quick for the Powerball drawing. We will keep you updated if Ryan or Robbie become billionaires at this point. Ryan, can you please tell me how much money is on the line?
$1.9 billion, the largest jackpot ever drawn for the Powerball. That's the annuity spread over 30 years. If you took the cash value, they're estimated to be $929.1 million, depending on your state and potential like income taxes and all that kind of shit that you have to deal with.
So almost $1 billion, even with taxes.
Yeah,
almost $1 billion you could have right now versus
Yeah.
you get it over 30 years if you want the 1.9.
We're doing the math. If you invest in like U.S. Treasury bonds right now, like potentially like 4.5%, you're living off the interest of $40 million a year and never running out of money.
That's pretty sick.
Which goes kind of fucking hard.
We're gonna run down the NFL games and standings and stuff for the week. The thing that I'm gonna lead off with: the New York Jets beat the Buffalo Bills at home. Obviously, you guys had some thoughts on this. What do you guys think?
With Breece Hall fucking
With Breece
done
Hall
for
out,
the year, Zach Wilson is a bum.
He's
The Josh Allen Colts are like elite at losing some game every year that they have no business losing. Like think back, remember last year when they lost like the Jags in Jacksonville?
Yeah.
Like it was like 7-3, and you're like, how do you score 3 points on the Jaguars?
Apparently, Allen's also being evaluated for a UCL injury. So
Yeah,
Bills fans are an absolute very upset at the moment. For right elbow injury to ulnar, collateral ligament, and related nerves.
Yeah, he had one right. It was one of those like he threw it and like he hit his hand on something coming down, and he was holding his elbow the rest of the game.
Yeah. So and the Bills get a huge game coming up against the Vikings. Giant clash for AFC versus NFC that people didn't think would be a giant clash. Kirk Cousins is him. If it's a noon kickoff, watch out for Kirk because that man is going to win the fucking game. Also, Commanders cover 3.5. You heard it here on the pod last week. I did say it. Don't rewind and talk about the money line because I also said that one. But
RG3 tweeted out.
He also texted us real confident about the money line midway through the game on Sunday. He's like, I called that, and then
the Commanders commanded.
RG3 tweeted out that the Minnesota Vikings are the least talked about 7-1 team in history. What do you think about that statement?
Probably fair.
That's what happens when you play in Aaron Rodgers' division too. Like I know that he sucks.
Packers are terrible.
Let's talk about Aaron Rodgers.
It's because Mahomes, Josh Allen, like the Eagles have good, like undefeated Eagles, like how good they've been are much more like fun to talk about.
Yeah, of course.
The Vikings are just like.
I mean, they just added Hawkinson, and it just makes them that much better. That offense is crazy, and like everyone seems to like just dismiss, Dalvin Cook, Adam Thielen, Justin Jefferson, T.J. Hawkinson, K.J. Osborne. It's like that's crazy for an offense.
I want to see Kirk hit the gritty.
Mike Gesicki gritty.
I'd pay money for that shit.
We're running down the games this week. Currently the Ravens are kind of dominating the Saints. The Thursday night game was the Eagles beating the Texans. The Texans took it to the Eagles early. They tried, but the Eagles prevailed. The Chargers narrowly beating the Falcons. Justin Herbert has just, I guess it's an issue of receiving weapons at the moment because obviously Keenan Allen's out and I think Mike Williams is out. But Justin Herbert has been struggling a little bit this year, and it's a lot of dump off passes to Austin Eckler. I don't know if his receivers just can't get open down the field if he doesn't have enough time on the O line. I'm not sure what it is, but he's not looking like he was last year. But I guess we'll see.
His O line's not very good. Mike Williams is an overrated bum every single year.
Well, he's hurt right now.
Just letting that be known to people that draft him. They know the pain in the second half of the season.
Yeah,
and he's just like Herbert has taken some shots this year. Like he's taken like a lot of hits. It's kind of like when Burrow's offensive line was so ass for that first year.
Yeah.
Like he just didn't perform super well because he was constantly being harassed. Also, I apologize to our fans that potentially bet the under on the Texans-Eagles game. The line was 46. It hit 47, even though I went on my spiel about big spread games hitting the under. So.
Close, though. Close. Good call out.
The Dolphins and the Bears in a surprising shootout where Justin Fields ran for 178 yards. Justin people raising some eyebrows on Justin Fields now. He's like Robbie said this a couple podcasts ago. He's figuring it out. He's picking stuff up.
I think the Bears just realize he's ass in the passing game. They do not have a lot of talent outside of Darnell Mooney. They have decent running backs. They're just going to shove it down your throat and see what you can do about
it. They realize it's this crazy thing that, Justin Fields is a lot more similar to Lamar Jackson than he is to Tom Brady.
He's very athletic.
Weird. Like a lot more similar in terms of the way that they play football.
Yeah.
And when you play him at quarterback, maybe you should let him be outside of the pocket versus just make him stand back there and get hit all game. It's a wild concept, and good for the Bears to figure that out a year and a half in to this experiment. I'm really happy for them that they can figure that out.
So he's faster than all the D linemen. So he runs faster than them.
Yeah, he can run away from him.
Oh, that makes sense.
And our offensive line sucks, so maybe we should move him further away from the defensive lineman so he has more time. Because he actually is pretty good at running.
You're talking crazy. I'm talking crazy right now. Unfortunately, Robbie's Panthers went down to the Cincinnati Bengals, 42-21. How did you feel about that game, Rob?
I have nothing good to say about it. We were down 35-0 at halftime. Joe Mixon scored 5 touchdowts.
It was somehow worse than I thought it would be. I thought it was going to be an ass whooping, and
I literally said Saturday after Alabama lost, like, there's no way I'm sitting down and watching this entire game, which is the first time, like, pretty much all year that I haven't watched the Panthers game. I didn't watch it, and thank God.
Red Zone was free, though. Shout out that on YouTube.
I did watch Red Zone. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry for the loss this week, Rob. Continue on the Green Bay Packers.
We're just tanking to draft. I don't even know who to draft.
Anybody.
Somebody to help.
Somebody please help.
Well, another CMC.
The Packers are also tanking, losing to the Detroit Lions 15-9 in Detroit. Packers suck. We know this. Patriots winning 26-3 over.
I have to comment on Aaron Rodgers. So he throws three interceptions in the end zone, which in and of itself is ridiculous. But my favorite one, I think it was the second one. He throws it directly into some dude's helmet, like some defensive lineman's helmet, and then starts yelling at someone. Like this dude is at the line of scrimmage, and Rodgers just throws it at his dome and starts yelling. It's like, bro, you threw it right at him. And it wasn't like he was in your face, like your lineman messed up. Like he was at the line of scrimmage where he's supposed to be. And he's just screaming at someone like, you're such a fucking asshole.
That's great.
You're such a dick. And I don't know why anyone likes you ever. And I don't think they do. You just happen to be good at football. And now that you suck, everyone fucking hates you.
It's really interesting to see the Aaron Rodgers stands that wanted to compare Rodgers to Brady. It's like Brady had shit receivers multiple times during his career.
Won Super Bowls with
so much more with them. Like the Packers are 3-6.
Yeah,
Tom Brady won a super difficult division.
Tom Brady won a Super Bowl, I think, with one of the worst receiving corps in the league. I'm pretty sure that happened.
And to Tom's credit, he was playing in the AFC East when the Bills, Jets, and Dolphins all sucked ass. Yeah, I will give them that.
But
now the AFC East is arguably the best division of football.
Yeah, I don't know. It's strange.
All teams are over 500 in that division right now.
It felt good to go on an Aaron Rodgers rant. I haven't been on one in a while. That felt good.
Brother. Your blood pressure feel better now?
I know it's still way too high, but
the Patriots beating the white flag waving Colts 26-3. We talked about the Jets and the Bills. The Vikings beat the Commanders narrowly 20-17, but still win 7-1 team. The Jags beat the Raiders. The Raiders, another kind of shock team that are not good or that have not played up to their.
They started off 0-3.
Yeah.
Yep.
They also don't have anyone to throw the ball to other than Devontae Adams because apparently Renfro and Waller's been hurt, but Renfro is a ghost out there.
And I saw Devontae he's not even out a couple balls, which is super uncharacteristic of him.
Yeah.
It's just a shit show in Vegas.
The Cinderella team outside of the Jets, the Seahawks beating the Cardinals 31-21. Geno Smith is him. I think we are aware of this at this point.
What is going on in Arizona? Yeah. They should be better than what they are. They have way too much talent on that offense.
Dude, the problem is
a mediocre 3-6.
Kyler Murray is throwing 40 passes a game for consistently under 200 yards. Throw some deep balls. They literally you have DeAndre Hopkins
for fucking jump balls every 20 plays.
It's very strange. Yeah, and talking about another successful team that is struggling, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or two successful teams that are struggling. Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat the Rams 16-3. The Rams fall to 3-5. That's in LA is.
Stafford's looked not great.
Yeah.
They don't have a running game. Stafford's throwing the ball like fucking 50 times a game, and somehow Higbee had 0 catches. Robbie's pressed about that.
Cooper Kupp is still him. Cooper Kupp is ridiculous. And then continuing on, the Titans somehow taking the Chiefs into overtime. 2017. I say that with the Titans being 5-3 because Derrick Henry is holy crap.
He's a man.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, man. He's a large dude. Yeah. And Derrick Henry only gets better as the season goes on.
Literally.
Yeah.
Like that. He's probably the only running back in the league that just like has Thanos powers and just gets stronger.
It's actually insane.
It's incredible to watch.
Yeah, so that is all I have for the NFL. So continuing on, we will now be talking about the NBA. A few headlines to go through here. Breaking news: James Harden has suffered a right foot tendon strain and is expected to miss a month. Sources tell Woj. Obviously, this is unfortunate considering the Philadelphia 76ers struggles up to this point, and maybe they will continue over this next month. Maybe they need kind of a reset. I guess we'll see, but obviously that's unfortunate news. We hope the best for him and in his recovery. Hornets restricted free agent Miles Bridges pleaded a no contest to a felony domestic violence charge Thursday morning in Los Angeles Superior Court. He'll face 3 years of probation and no jail time as part of a deal with prosecutors.
Wild.
So that sucks.
If you saw anything about that case, I cannot believe he got off that easily. I mean, was he
a first time offender?
I think so. But
I'm not surprised, just disappointed because it was violent, right? Like, that's documented.
Yeah, first time offender, but he done it to this woman multiple times. Like first time offender, first time getting caught offender, maybe.
Correct.
But. So obviously sucks, terrible. We wish that the ruling was different. Unfortunately, it was not. Continue on with another unfortunate headline that we have to talk about. The Nets have suspended Kyrie Irving without pay. The team announced the suspension will be for no less than 5 games. This suspension comes in light of Kyrie Irving promoting an anti-Semitic film. Nike also announced on Friday that it has suspended its relationship with Nets guard Kyrie Irving and will no longer launch its new sneaker, the Kyrie 8. Furthermore, the Nets have delivered Kyrie Irving 6 items he must complete to return to the team, apologize/condemn the movie, a $500,000 donation to anti-hate causes, sensitivity training, anti-Semitic training, meet with ADL and Jewish leaders, and meet with Joe Tsai to demonstrate understanding. Reportedly, the Nets, or something so it might have been speculation, but apparently the Nets don't expect him to meet all these requirements, and so apparently this might be a way to try to just release him. But it's kind of an interesting process to go about, and I fully support the Nets for doing all this. I think that's awesome. But I don't know.
Kyrie's he's gonna like somehow do it all, but like not in the way that the Nets hoped that he would.
100%.
Like he'll Kyrie it somehow.
So yeah, so some unfortunate things going on in the NBA right now. It sucks. Obviously,
and there's what is with the players that come out and support him too? There have been multiple NFL and NBA dudes that aren't coming out against him and saying hey, you shouldn't be saying this. They're like, hey, support Kyrie. And I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with y'all?
Yeah.
You guys are so on the other side of this issue. It is
this isn't an issue. This isn't an issue about voicing your opinion. It's an issue of you're insensitive to a group of people and don't
even Ed Reed came out and support of Kyrie. It's
that's random.
I don't think I realized just how rampant anti-Semitism was in professional sports.
It sucks to see, I think is the best way to put it.
So apologies for that seriousness, but obviously those are headlines that we have to talk about. Obviously we like to keep it fun here on the podcast, and that is not something that we love addressing. But furthermore, I have something that might not necessarily boost our spirits, but it'd be interesting to talk about specifically on Ryan's end. Ryan, where reportedly the Dallas Mavericks are a team to keep an eye on in the market for Ben Simmons.
You also see the Cowboys in the market for OBJ.
That one doesn't offend me as much as Ben Simmons. The Dallas Mavericks want Ben Simmons.
Where would he play?
Just on the bench. Anywhere but
You
the
do
court.
not take the ball out of Luka's hands.
So bad.
I don't. No, thank you.
Please, no.
Why are the Nets trading Ben Simmons now? I thought they've been holding him this long so he could play for them.
Ben
Like
Simmons.
if Cuban wants to give up a 2025 second rounder, I'll take a flyer. Sure.
Yeah, okay.
Why
If we're
not?
trading 1 second round pick for Ben Simmons, yes. But like
Yeah.
more than that,
There's
and I'm
there's a
offended.
price that I'll be okay with.
Yes, of course.
For like a 6'10" dude that can rebound.
He's locked
pass,
down.
and
He's a very
two-way
good defender.
player.
He is a very good
defender, right?
defender.
Just don't make the motherfucker shoot.
Just don't give him the ball on offense.
Don't give
I don't
him
think
the ball.
Luka
That's
would.
another court.
I don't think Luka would, in all honesty. So yeah, that's just a little bit of a funny
Sure
headline.
has to
Obviously,
debate and rebound, motherfucker. Like
we're kind of a little anti Ben Simmons, but anyways, I thought that was a little bit of a fun one. Just going through some of the standings, can we talk about the Utah Jazz leading the Western Conference at an 8-3 record? The team that pretty much universally everybody thought was going to be the worst team in the Western Conference is currently leading the Western Conference.
Yeah,
they are undefeated at home. They're 4-0 at home.
Markkanen's hanging 22 a game.
Dude, he's
Like,
never been bad, but
they are hooping.
yeah, no, they
in
actually
Utah.
are. It's actually
It's
crazy.
kind of wild.
I know. Markkanen's dropping 22. Clarkson's dropping. That's what's so cool to see, though. It's one of those teams that isn't necessarily like star oriented. It's just every single person does their part. It's Markkanen's 22, Clarkson's 18, Sexton is 14, Conley is 12, Olynyk is 12. There's so many guys that are averaging double digits.
Yeah,
and it's so hard to beat a team that has that many guys that just can score.
And all those guys have been a solid contributor on a
Mm-hmm.
better team at some point in their career. And now you see them kind of all come together as like, okay, we don't have that one guy that we're going to go to every play. And we can all kind of do what we do best.
And like Connor said, they're 8-3, right? And let's look at some of the teams they beat. They played all Western Conference teams. They've beaten the Nuggets once. They split the series with the Nuggets. They've beaten the Timberwolves, who are, they did a trade with and who are supposed to be pretty good this year. They beat the Pelicans, who's supposed to be everyone's dark horse favorite in the West. They beat the Grizzlies back-to-back nights.
That's crazy. That's actually nuts.
Like, they beat the Lakers, they beat the Clippers, they lost a game against the Rockets, which is hysterical because they're terrible.
That's
the back-to-back Grizzlies win is like actually insane. Like you would think that's a split at best if you're kind of looking at your schedule. Shout out to them. Lakers are 2-7. They fucking suck.
By the way, the Rockets have the same amount of wins as the Texans.
And the same amount of wins as the Lakers. 2.
For our fans, did you guys? There's the one game that the Lakers won last week, and Russ got MVP chance when he was in.
Yeah, I did see that.
The Lakers and Jazz are.
That was electric.
Right now.
That was
Are they
electric.
Really? So yeah, some teams that are struggling, surprising teams that are struggling. The Golden State Warriors are 3-7 right now, so that's a little surprising. The Miami Heat are 4-7. It's so hard to say that it's surprising now because of the lack of success, but the Brooklyn Nets are 4-6. It's just with the talent on that team, it's always surprising, I think, to see them that low.
Playing the Mavs right now.
Cleveland 8-1. We knew Cleveland was here to play.
Not really a shock there.
We knew Cleveland was here to play. I mean, nothing.
Cavs finals. What are the odds I can get on that right now?
That'll be mad. Phillies 5-6. So, I mean, there are a few shockers, but everything else is kind of working out the way that we expected it to. But like I said, the Jazz are obviously, and the Portland 7-3, and they really only have Dame, and then who's the other dude that's balling right now? Anthony Simons, is that who it is? Yeah, he's averaging 22 right now. So yeah, there's some teams.
Jazz Blazers 1-2 in the West is actually wild.
Like, without CJ?
Just how I predicted it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So continuing on, apparently, it's official. Tiger Woods is returning to the golf course December 10th in the 7th edition of The Match. The 15-time major champion will team up with world number 1 golfer Rory McIlroy against Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth in a 12-hole competition under the lights at Pelican Golf Club in Bel Air, Florida.
Golf is better when Tiger plays. Doesn't matter how bad he plays. Golf is just better.
There will be some excellent banter in that match as well. Rory and Tiger are pretty good friends. JT and Spieth are really, really good friends.
I'm sure there's going to be some absolute degenerate side bets that won't be like like on air that they're talking about, but I'm sure there's probably like 7 figures in side bets between the 4 of them doing some stupid shit.
Yep.
Like for Robbie and I, it'd be like $1 a hole. For them, it's like $10,000 a hole or some shit like that.
So speaking of sports betting, there was a UFC fight recently that is under a heavy investigation, and this is a relatively lengthy news story, so I'm going to try to condense it. But this is from ABC News. So the UFC fought on Saturday between Derek Minner and I cannot say this name, so I'm going to say Shyalan, and I'm not going to try to say his last name. Which ended abruptly in the first round, is being investigated by a U.S.-based betting integrity firm after several sportsbooks in multiple states reported suspicious wagering on the featherweight bout. The odds on Shyalan defeating underdog Minner moved dramatically in the hours leading up to their UFC Fight Night matchup in Las Vegas. Bettors were convinced that not only would he win, but he would do so in the first round. Money poured in on the favorite to win by knockout in the first round and for the fight to last fewer than 2.5 rounds, prompting some sportsbooks to take the fight off the board, according to an analysis conducted by U.S. Integrity, a Las Vegas-based firm that works with sportsbooks and state gaming regulators to monitor the betting market, a copy of which was obtained by ESPN. On Saturday, with rumors circulating among bettors that Minner was injured, the opponent's odds to win moved from -220 to -420 in the 4 hours before the fight. Just 30 seconds into the fight, Minner threw a left kick to Shyalan's body and immediately grimaced and reached for his left leg. Shyalan closed in and Minner went for another left body kick before he dropped Minner with a knee to the head and finished on the ground with elbows. The TKO stoppage came at 107 in the first round. It was his first finish in the UFC in 4 fights with the promotion, and Minner, a 10-year MMA veteran, has now lost 3 straight in 4 of 6 UFC fights. As sportsbooks grew suspicious of the unusual betting leading up to the fight, they contacted U.S. Integrity, which in turn conducted a thorough analysis of the situation and alerted state gaming regulators and other sportsbook clients to the irregular betting roughly 3 hours before the fight began at 8 p.m. Eastern. The betting didn't stop, according to the analysis, even after the odds moved to significantly less attractive prices. The relentless betting on the worst odds only increased suspicion among some bookmakers and U.S. Integrity. I'm trying to see what else is here.
You're telling me that fighting is rigged?
Shocking.
I'm shocked.
Shocking.
And Joey Odessa, a longtime respected MMA odds maker, noticed the flurry of interest on the fight and was aware of the alert being sent out to Sportsbook. Doesn't mean a fix was in, Odessa told ESPN in a social media message, but rather someone definitely knew something. So,
Someone always knows something about like those kind of fights.
Yeah.
So
100%.
It's like this Powerball drawing. Someone's gonna know something when Jeff Bezos wins it.
I see it. So yeah, that is all I have for sports on the week. Ryan, can I get a song of the week from you?
Drake's new album came out.
That's true.
And,
There's the song that I said earlier.
And there's a couple bangers on there.
Yeah,
but I think Rich Flex.
Okay.
Might be a decent one.
Okay.
Or Spin Bout You.
Yeah, Spin Bout You.
What the fuck do you want, Robbie?
I literally said that before the pod started.
Yeah, but he asked me, head ass.
Robbie, do you have a song of the week?
No, Ryan fucking took it. I don't want to give another one. I was prepared for once, Connor, and Ryan took it.
Yeah, I didn't expect to be asked. This was a curveball thrown in my general direction as well.
I mean, you always gotta be ready.
I'll be on your toes. I mean, on my toes.
I'm gonna go into Club 50 Cent. Yeah, just casual.
Fuck yeah,
casual song.
All right.
Okay.
So yeah, moving on to the song of the week.
Love on the pod.
Obviously, we have our little segment at the end. We are continuing on with the draft this week. Robbie, considering you came up with the idea, would you like to explain what the draft is going to be this week?
Yeah, so you've already heard us mention it a couple of times, but we are going to do a draft of things that you would buy if you won the lottery. So for conversation's sake, we'll assume that it's this lottery of 1.9 billion, which, if you win that much money, you can pretty much buy anything that you want. So
after taxes, it looks like $1 billion, like in just lump cash.
You can still buy anything that you want.
So there's one thing I have on my list that I don't think I could.
The moon, like
love,
a sports team.
No, you can definitely buy love for $1 billion, and you know it.
What is your definition of love, Robbie? Anyways.
Yes, that will be the draft for today.
All
I'm very curious how this goes after round like 2 or 3 because I feel like there's some really obvious answers that everyone has, and I'm very curious when we get to rounds 4 and 5 what we come up with.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I came up with the idea, so I'll go.
Okay.
I'll go first.
Excellent.
I'm not sure I want to go first, but
I want to get a vibe. What we're thinking here.
I'm gonna go with the obvious answer. I think one of the obvious answers at 1.01. I would buy myself a house.
Yeah, that's a pick.
House. The house is
crazy.
off
Just
the
a
board.
house?
You heard
Crazy.
it here. Just
Crazy
a house.
Yeah,
Like a little-
I'm just worried. I'm worried about a place that I can live that I don't have to pay rent anymore.
Let's get some details for our viewers. where we're at. Square footage, bedroom, bathroom.
My job is still in Atlanta. I don't need anything too big. I'd be living by myself.
Okay, job? We won $1 billion, right?
No, okay. Oh, this is actually a good conversation to have while we're doing this.
Yeah.
Do you immediately quit your job?
Yes.
But do you come back and you start working eventually
your
again, right? I'd be
20s.
too bored.
So
I'd have to work
20s.
something.
So, but you need to. I my personal opinion, right? You need to quit your 9 to 5 to be able to figure out your
fair.
goals with it. Because, like we were talking about earlier, I think before we started the podcast, like if you invest all that money into like the current bond market at like 4%, right? You're living off interest at 4% at the tune of like 40 million a year and never running out of money, right?
Yeah.
So like that much money is definitely like managing that could be your full-time job.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like figuring out what like you would want to invest in or like capital ventures you want to take. Like personally for me, I wouldn't be working at 9 to 5.
I'm not sure I'd work like my normal 9 to 5 that I work
Yeah.
now, but I would probably want to have a job. I think I would be bored. I think I'd rather have someone else that I trust manage my money because I don't really trust myself to do it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like I
But-
feel like you could basically, like Ryan said, quit your current job and then set everything up, and then when it gets to a point where it's automatically running itself, then you re-enter the job market. And because, like Robbie said, you're gonna be so. I guess unless you're constantly going on vacations and stuff, I mean, you're gonna be.
but then you're gonna run out of money.
Like my goal in my job would be to figure out how to do the most with the money that I have.
Of course.
Right. That is then my 9 to 5. And obviously, like you don't want to like, since I don't have a ton of experience with that much capital, like be actively managing it because then I'll just like fucking run it into the ground. But like you gotta be aware. You don't want somebody taking advantage of you. You just like put the money somewhere and all of a sudden it disappears, right? So
Yep. Ryan, you go next.
Yeah, I wasn't prepared, honestly. I don't know what the first thing I would buy is. It's really disappointing. I would say for the second pick, it would be a car of some point, right? Like you got $1 billion. Is it, a great investment? Hell no. But you won $1 billion. So you can afford comfortably
buy yourself something that you would enjoy driving.
Right.
Buy yourself it doesn't have to be the most expensive car out there, but buy yourself a car that you thoroughly enjoy driving.
Don't have to be driving a Pagani. I don't need to drop $2 million straight off the bank. But tell me a ZR1 Corvette fresh off the lot, just flash your card, wouldn't be like sick as hell.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with because 8 airports, private jet. Give me a private jet any day of the week.
That's an interesting pick.
I hate airports. If I that's honestly might be one of the first things I'm thinking about. Give me a private jet.
I looked into this.
Yeah.
Like owning a private jet, even as like a billionaire,
it's crazy.
Like almost not prohibitively expensive, but like you don't see people that have the net worth and the 100 millions actually own a private jet.
No, it's crazy.
It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, but I hate.
I'm curious. I'm curious where you go with because I think there's a pick here that's obvious to pair with a private jet. I'm curious if you go down that road here, Connor, with your second pick.
I don't have any idea what you're talking about, so I'm probably so. But I guess we're snaking it back around.
Yeah.
Okay. Do all these have to like equal $1 billion? Like how? Or these things? Okay.
Yeah, and that's like as we go down the list, I think it's going to be less, big ass purchases like a plane, a house, or a car. It's going to be like things that you would never buy for yourself, but now that you can, like, it's probably only $10,000, $20,000 you never buy for yourself otherwise.
Small market NBA team. because honestly, big market costs more than $1 billion. So a small market NBA team, definitely. I think like that would be a ton of fun.
Good pick. I was thinking something similar
That's
along the
solid pick,
lines.
yep.
I like that. Something that you could like be involved in and like have constant.
See, that could be that's my job.
Oversight.
That
Yeah,
could be a great job. Yeah.
Yeah.
For my second pick, this is going to be a little off the books, but I'm going to want to own a Chick-fil-A.
That's
like
a fire pick. That's
right.
It's an
That's
investment. It's an
investment.
investment.
That's
But it's
Yeah,
also-
I like that.
I swing by that Johnson every other day to get free chicken, and
That's
they got my order already ready. And
That's a great pick. I love
thank
that.
you.
So this is in a similar vein to Connor, but this is how I'm gonna spend my day. I buy myself a golf course.
I knew you were
Oh,
going to say that.
That's a
I
good
knew
one.
it.
That's a really
I
good
would buy
one.
myself a golf course.
Okay.
Again, just like the Chick-fil-A or the team, it's an investment, trying to recoup some of that money back, but also I would just enjoy it. I could just go out, hang out at the golf course all day.
Mhm.
Hell yeah.
I don't have another pick ready, so I'm gonna have to think about it here for a second. But
Yeah.
they still haven't drawn the numbers, by the way. We are 41 minutes past.
Do they say
11
like
o'clock on the
what
Eastern
they're going to
Seaboard.
do if they're doing
They
it
said
tonight?
it's a technical difficulty. Someone said that the California lottery tweeted that the results were in,
Holy shit.
but they had not.
Interesting.
That is absolutely wild to have technical difficulties on the night of the biggest lottery
Biggest
drawing
one.
in the
It
United
is
States history.
really suspicious, isn't it?
Yeah, cue the fucking conspiracy theorists,
Yeah.
especially in November with all the election
I
cycle
know.
stuff going on. It's going to be an absolute nightmare to hear.
Robbie, you have any pick in mind? Maybe something that relates to something that you picked before?
I got it.
He's got it.
For my brand new, very nice house that I bought.
Mm-hmm.
I would also invest in a top of the line entertainment system, including, a big projector, some nice seats.
Yeah.
Come with the house, though.
Yeah, wouldn't that come with? Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, it's weak. That's weak,
Boo.
Birdstone.
No, because I'm gonna trick it out. It might come with the house, but it's not gonna come with the best speakers ever, the best projector, anything like that. Like it's gonna be everything's gonna be the best.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I the boo.
I didn't have anything.
Ryan, what
Trying to move it along.
Yeah, I also am struggling with the thought of having $1 billion. Honestly, like I probably wouldn't buy a house.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably own like a lot of different apartments across the world.
Yeah.
And just like rent those out when I'm not there in like super scenic
Mhm.
locations. Right? Like
Yeah.
Obviously like the Airbnb business model is kind of getting like shafted as of recently, but
Mhm.
I still think it'd be a lot of fun to go and like visit a ton of places and still
Mhm.
make some like income on those spots.
Yeah. I'm gonna
Brian
go
really
with.
wants to manage all of this money himself. Is what I'm
Yes.
gathering from this.
I have seen so many people like lose fortunes because they get people like that take advantage of them.
Mhm.
Oh sure.
And like or just not financially intelligent. So that's like
Yeah.
one of my goals as a person is to know what my money is doing.
I think my next one would be just purely because of my love of music. I would probably buy a record label. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Another kind of 9-to-5 job, someone that I could interact with other artists, and and then I could record my own music in the recording studio. So I was gonna say recording studio, but then I was like, if I could just buy a record label and then I own the building and that kind of thing. It's probably that. And I'm trying to think my next one. I don't really want a cruise ship. I don't really want.
Oh, no.
That's not really like a thing of mine. I don't really want a private island. That's not really my vibe. I'm trying to think what else I could do. I feel like
The private island is what I was thinking would go well with your jet because you can take the jet.
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. Honestly, I'd probably invest in some sort of like startup tech company, maybe like an app that I thought would be really good. That kind of thing. Shark Tank it. I'm gonna be like, hey, I have a lot of money. Put me on Shark Tank, and then I go on Shark Tank, and then maybe I'll throw money at a movie. Maybe I'll invest in something. I guess invest in some sort of creative endeavor, that kind of thing.
It's $1 billion. It's kind of hard to wrap your head around.
Yeah.
But also like
hard to come up with like crazy expensive
stuff.
I think-
Exponentially scales.
Yeah.
So it's like some stuff gets crazy expensive super quick.
I forgot, an incredibly nice watch. It's like something ridiculously expensive. I mean, that's just that's my thing.
I think we're way too focused on like things you can make some money back on. Like, think of some stuff you want to buy that would just like.
All right, I got
I'm
it.
a watch
Thank
guy,
you.
so
Thank you for saying that, Connor.
Yeah.
I would buy the complete collection of PSA 10 Gold Stars.
There you go.
That's what I would do.
I was shocked you didn't hit the Pokemon cards earlier.
There's 27 Gold Stars produced by Pokemon, Gold Star Pokemon cards, and they're incredibly expensive. And PSA 10s are like the highest grade that you can get. And so, like for example, a PSA 10 Rayquaza Gold Star is like tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the most recent one sold for. It's probably like $50K. So to own all of those is probably like $250,000, I'd say. So like, if I had $1 billion, hell yeah. But you know,
of course,
I'm not making that right now, unfortunately.
I got to pick, and it's another kind of investment thing, but also I think a personal thing. I would buy a bar on the Strip in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, and just run it, and just have it be my bar, and I can make it whatever I want.
Would you be like
basically
Chris at the Shed?
Yes, I would bartend. Absolutely, I would just be there hanging out, doing whatever, probably drinking on the job because that would be the fun part. Because it's my bar, so I can. I'd get really good at darts and pool. That'd be sick. Like, there's nothing else to do while you're there. I think that'd be a big win. So I'm gonna go bar.
Well, I mean, I think that's kind of the idea. It's a lot of like a lot of us are just interested in like investing in multiple different businesses and just having fun with that. Like you know, it's the sports thing.
Yeah, I think
some creative.
I think Ryan's Pokemon cards were good when you're. That's the thing. I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think of like things that I would buy that like are just kind of like a hobby thing. Expensive that I would never buy for myself now.
See, like I mentioned a car previously, but I would probably like start going down the rabbit hole of like buying cars and fixing them up, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like I have enough money where if I fuck up by myself on repairing a car, it's not the end of the world, right? Like if I like sank $10K into like trying to fix up a car now and I fucked it up, like that's a huge money pit. But like you would be able to learn, like you'd have the capital to be able to like teach yourself and learn and all this kind of stuff. So I would also say probably like just a recurring like project car all the time.
All right, I got my last pick.
Last pick?
Fuck Connor, I guess.
I already made mine.
Snake back to me.
No, I know. Head ass.
Yeah.
Stupid dumb.
Stupid dummy.
I'd buy an amusement park. Think about how sick that would be.
Disney World.
All right, a
little Disney World action.
No, not Disney World. Like a Six Flags.
Little Six Flags action.
Like, yeah. And then like I would build way more roller coasters because I have the money to do that now.
True. Biggest Six Flags in the world.
I think
it's a good pick.
I think if you bought an amusement park after winning water, I think you would have to go out of your way to build the biggest roller coaster in the world, or the highest one, I guess.
Something like that.
It would have to go out of your way. Yeah, 100%.
I'd buy Mr. Beast's YouTube channel.
You can't.
Apparently, it's worth $10 billion.
That's insane.
He was offered $1 billion,
and he said no because he calculated.
Dude, and I heard some of the financial analysis on this. Right?
He's right.
No, he's 100% right. So think about it, like during a Super Bowl commercial, right? Like a 30-second
I
ad.
saw it. I think the math doesn't make sense though. If someone was in the comments like that math doesn't make sense.
The math is off, but I can see like how somebody
what they're
there.
saying. Yeah.
It's like how much was it for like a 30-second ad on the Super Bowl? Like $15 million or something. Right? And you're expecting what, like 300 million people watching?
Something like that.
Like Mr. Beast
That's one commercial. Yeah.
Like Mr. Beast gets that many views on a 10 to 15 minute, maybe even 20-minute video, and he's putting out those videos like I don't know, not weekly, I guess, like probably like once a month.
Yeah, monthly.
Yeah, once a month or something like that.
So my question would be, does his YouTube channel inherently become worth less money if he's not making content on it anymore?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, 100%.
Yes. 100%.
But he still has the people.
So
that's pinging in their box.
So they would buy his channel and then still employ him to make videos on the channel.
Probably.
Potentially, yeah, because like all those subscribers, like they're subscribed to him. right?
Right.
That's
why I feel like it's hard. It's hard to value it.
Yeah.
Because he would have to be a part of the deal. So you're essentially paying to employ him on top of just owning his YouTube channel that already has all these subscribers. Yep.
Oh no, he does it. Excuse me, he does it every 2 weeks. That's even more impressive. But it's like his main channel has 110, but he has a Spanish channel that has like 80. It's like what the? It's incredible how many subscribers he has across all his different channels because he's like 7.
I think like 20 years from now, there will be some really interesting case studies on like some of the mega YouTube stars. And I'm really interested to see like some of the analysis that comes out, like when they kind of start revealing, what their process is or just like what the financials look like. And that stuff will be super interesting to Zoomers.
Yeah.
And shout out Logan Paul because he's a professional wrestler now. I don't know if you guys saw, but
I don't keep up with the Paul brothers, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I see them pop up on various like Instagram reels or TikToks or whatever, but
the TikToks.
So I think that is all we have time for. We thank you so much for joining us. Robbie, do you want to sign us out?
For myself and Ryan and Connor, thank you so much for watching. There's a chance that Ryan and I become billionaires by next episode, in which case I have a feeling we probably won't do the podcast, but we might.
Fuck that doesn't change me.
But I think it's going to be a little busy if you now have $1 billion to figure out.
Yeah, but our podcast will blow up. You guys are the guys that won, the $1 billion. The podcast will blow
you don't
up.
want to put you don't want to put a target on your back like that. You can't go on and tell everyone.
You got to open up a shell company that then claims the money, actually, depending on the state.
Can't get this podcast to blow up. Man.
Anyways, for the three of us, we appreciate you watching, and we hope that you tune in next time. Please gamble responsibly.
Roll Tide.